I formally call this meeting to order at 8:30 p.m. Secretary Shells, can you please call?
President Ford. Here. Vice President Jacobs.
Here.
ECR Murphy. Executive Treasurer Lawrence.
Here.
Assistant Treasurer Royal.
Here.
Senator Dawson. Senator Lennon.
Here.
Senator Walton.
Here.
Senator Hernandez Gary.
Here.
Senator Erskine.
Here.
Senator Wilcoxon. Here. Senator Maldonado. Senator Barron. Here. Senator Friesa. Here. Senator Westphal. Here. Senator Burns.
Here.
Senator Rao.
Here.
Senator Shen.
Here.
Senator Zachary. Here. Senator Chenoweth.
Here.
Senator Howard. Here. Senator Martin. Here. Senator Flanagan. Here. Roll has been called.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment. Are there any public comments here or on YouTube? Are there any on YouTube? Okay, sorry. All right, moving on to the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on to senators' reports. Are there any senators' reports tonight? All right, seeing none, moving on to advisors' reports.
Two very important things. Not about recipes. Two very important things. First one, last week, we sent out an email to all students about flu shots. That is going to be another requirement for this year because we've already seen several cases of flu on campus this year, and as you guys know, flu symptoms and COVID symptoms, very interestingly, some of them, so we're just trying to help with confusion. Last year, we had one case of flu on campus with the flu shot requirement. This year, we've already had 2 or 3 cases before the requirement, so hence the flu shot. Students, we are going to be providing 4 clinics for students to be able to attend. First one is this week, then after fall break, so there's 2 in October, 2 in November, or you could go to your local CVS, Walgreens, pharmacy at your hometown during fall break, get it yourself, and just upload the verification to the system that is linked in the email you received. We'd like to get this done before Thanksgiving break for all students. It's why the deadline is what it is. If you have any questions, just email flushots@valpo.edu. Second one, it's actually just as important as the first one. It's fall break week. Hallelujah. Congratulations on making it through half a semester. You guys are doing great. You're doing awesome. Please, 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 for all this holy, get some rest this weekend. It's just you guys deserve it. If you're staying here on campus or going home, find some time, carve out some time amongst all the many things you have to do for homework, which I'm sure there are plenty. For you, recharge your batteries. Have the best way you can recharge your batteries. Because after we get back to fall break, it's about a month or so until Thanksgiving break. And then when we get back to Thanksgiving break, we have 2 weeks of classes and finals. So it goes by quickly, as you guys all know very well. So please, 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 during fall break, make sure you carve out some new time and recharge your batteries. That's it. Thanks.
I just have can I say one thing? Sorry. Hi, everybody. So we are getting close, obviously we're at the midterm, and so if you are in a student organization, know people in student organizations, please make sure that they're getting any of their reimbursement paperwork in, because I feel very responsible that people are spending money out of their pocket, that the university needs to pay that back. So the sooner they get that in, the sooner we get them paid. We are processing paperwork in under 24 hours right now. So payments are coming within about 7 days of that. So we would like to get that in to make sure that we don't have expenditures from August that we're paying in like January, right? So we want to make sure that that's happening. So if anybody has any questions about that, please make sure they get with Mark or Owen or myself. We'll be happy to do that. And then secondly, the Center for Student Involvement staff has offered a series of MyValpo trainings. We now have like nobody showing up for those, which is good because it means most everybody's been trained, we believe. If somebody still needs to be trained or says something to you as a senator, please have them connect with Ryan Bai in the Center for Student Involvement, and he's just doing one-on-one appointments now to make sure that anybody who still needs to get trained gets trained. So we won't be doing any more advertisements for MyValpo workshops. For this fall semester, we're doing everything now one-on-one.
Great, are there any questions for the advisors? All right, thank you, advisors. Moving on to officer reports. President Ford?
Ditto what Dean Blevin said about making sure you rest and relax this fall break, or this little break here. So for my report, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the We Matter Week Town Hall. It went really well. We had a lot of administrators there, and we went for the whole 2 hours, so it was really productive. The link to that can be found on our YouTube page, so if you're interested in watching that, you can watch it on there. Or PRC Grumpy, he's going to be sending out a transcript of the meeting. So when that's sent out, you can take a look at that and see what topics were talked about. This is something we are going to be continuing to work on these ideas. And we expect to have another event mid-November that's more collaborative. We also had President's Roundtable tonight, which is a meeting for all the presidents of all university organizations. And at this, we talked about new organization requirements that are going to be installed. We talked a lot about the Shields of Excellence, which are just some new requirements that they're like checkpoints for organizations to make sure that they are functioning and are able to make a great impact on campus. So I just wanted to update you guys a little bit on that. Does anyone have any questions for me about anything? All right, and report.
All right, thank you, President Ford. Moving on to my report, just a quick reminder, when you have reports, if you could please come up to the podium so it can be live streamed and that people can hear you, that would be great. Now, I'll be requiring 2 senators' reports in each meeting now because I'm just kind of disappointed with the lack of senators' reports this semester. I know we're still kicking things off, but we kind of need to know what's going on campus with your constituents, everything. So we will not be moving on in the agenda until at least 2 senators come up and give reports. So sorry, but also I need to hear what's going on campus with you guys. Next, just make sure you're keeping your office hours. I'm very glad that I see a lot more senators coming to office hours. I know in the past years, not many senators have come, so seeing all of you taking advantage of our new office space and being there when students come with their concerns, it makes me really happy, but just make sure that you're keeping up with those. Also in our office, we now have the torch being delivered. Thank you, Senator Brizo. But just make sure when you're in the office, maybe just look through the torch to see what's happening on campus, see if there's any student concerns coming up and articles that you can maybe get in touch with your constituents about or write an SR about. It's a perfect opportunity to get to know what's happening on campus. Lastly, I kind of want to go off of what President Ford said about the We Matter Week event. It went really well, although I was kind of thoroughly disappointed with the amount of senators that showed up. There were only 2 senators there. This is a very important event, even though it's not required. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't come. You should be supporting fellow students, fellow art programming, and definitely underrepresented voices on campus. So just for the future, know that required events doesn't mean that you don't have to come. Make sure that you're coming, supporting students, supporting every student's voice on campus, and supporting our events as well. So just be mindful of that. Any questions for me? Yes, Senator Martin.
How come short or support if we have like a class during that time period? There's something we can do?
So yeah, if you had class during it, that's fine. I'm not expecting you to miss class for our events or anything, but if you're not doing anything, if you don't have any other like major commitments, just be showing your support. But if you wanted to still show your support outside of the classroom, you can just get in contact with your constituents. We have PRC Grumpy setting up the minutes, so just looking through those and seeing if anything comes up with your constituents or something that you want to act upon in those minutes, you can reach out and do something about that. Any other questions? All right, great. Moving on, Secretary Strauss. All right, PRC current piece, DFC Chair Rob emailed him and he set up a meeting to get DFC form on my Velvo. So we should be seeing the DFC grant going up soon. Moving on to Executive Treasurer Lorenz.
I just want to report that we are going to be issuing stipends soon for tier 1 organizations. This year we're going to be doing just one stipend request. Normally we do one a quarter, but this year we're just going to be doing one for the semester. So please let your constituents who receive stipends that email will be coming out soon. Second, Owen and I are currently searching for an executive aide to take over as executive treasurer for the 2022-2023 academic year. So if any of you are interested, or if you know anyone who is interested, please let myself or Senator Backer know, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Treasurer Lorenz. Moving on to committee reports. Executive Committee Chair Ford.
We just have our meeting tomorrow at 5:30 in the Campanile room. I'll be sending the agenda out sometime tomorrow morning, so if you could just fill that out for the meeting, that would be great. And
Thank you, President Ford. Moving on to Finance Committee Chair Carrizo.
No report.
Thank you. Moving on to Administration Chair Chenoweth.
Hello, we'll keep it really short. I just wanted to let everybody know that admin committee is actually starting to get down to the nitty-gritty of reviewing our bylaws, and within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be reviewing peer institution documents and how they go about the recognition of student organizations and other processes that are similar to what admin is doing right now. So if you have any recommendations on that, ideas, or any peer institution methods or procedures that you want us to look at, just let us know and we'd be happy to do so.
Thank you, Chair Chenoweth. Moving on to Committee on Media, Chair Behrens.
Hi, so I'm committee met last Thursday. We had a student come and present an idea for a recording studio space on campus that would be accessible to all students. And she invited the media organizations to consider taking that on with their organization. And we also, I spoke to the Committee on Media about reviewing all of our bylaws as well as their individual org bylaws. And so we are working on that as I'm working on the Committee on Media bylaws and they're working on their bylaws. And then our next meeting, we will go through and do a full revision and approve those revisions. And as for the media organizations, they are continuing to produce content and report.
Thank you, Chair Behrens. Moving on to Screening Committee Chair Bakri.
All right, first of all, bear with me, it might be a little long. But we did go through all the open positions so far, and we filled all but two, and then the executive aide position they were just mentioning. So I'm going to quickly go over the nominations that the screening committee has for you guys to vote on, and then we'll vote. So for our junior senator position, Roshan Gadam was our nomination. The screening committee voted 2-0-0. We thought he was involved in campus and really had some good ideas about wanting to get involved, and how he would connect with his constituents, stuff like that. Okay. For our senior senator, our nomination was Tasha Abraham. We decided on her for similar reasons. She's worked with a lot of on-campus organizations, has presidential experience in those organizations, and she also had some good ideas about how she would get connected and get her constituents' opinions. For our at-large commuter centers, we had 3 of them open. We said we got Prashant Bahana, Hannah Williamson, and Nolan Levenroth. Again, those ones we voted on for similar reasons. They had good ideas about how to get involved with their constituents. They wanted to do on campus. And then our last one, we had an at-large transfer center seat open, and the screening committee voted for Riley Cavalier. We liked, again, some of the experiences and the opportunities and things that they wanted to do to get involved in campus. Does anyone have any questions about any of the candidates?
All right, so given that there's no questions, I'm guessing there's no motion to discuss unless there is. All right, so this is up to you guys. You can either vote one by one or vote as a slate.
Motion to vote as a slate.
There's a motion to vote as a slate. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of voting as a slate, please raise your placards. All right. All right, all in favor of voting on, let's see. Oh, by the way, it passed 18-0. All right, all in favor of voting on Junior Senator Roshan Gautam, Senior Senator Tasha Abraham, at-large commuter senators Prashant Bhatta, Hannah Williamson, Nolan Levenboff, and at-large Chancellor Senator Riley Cavalier. Please raise your placards. All right. And that passes 18-0. We now have 6 more positions filled. So congratulations to the screening committee on doing all of those interviews and filling a lot more positions. We're very close to a full Senate now, so give them a hand.
So then again, just reiterating, we are still looking for the executive aide for the treasurer position. If you have anyone or know of anyone, have them reach out to me.
Thank you, screening committee, for all of your hard work. I'm very excited to get to a full Senate, and as soon as we get a little bit closer to that, President Ford and I will be working on getting a workshop together to teach all senators how to do BPs and SRs and such, which will be important coming up soon in the future. All right, moving on to dining services, Chair Martin.
There's nothing really to report. We are still looking for non-student Senate representatives. My committee and I, we reached out to at least 10 people and who are interested and haven't gotten any responses back. So if you're interested in joining us on the dining committee, please reach out to us at senate.dining@valpo.edu and we'll definitely get an interview arranged.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know if there's a particular or really specific reason why more stations aren't open on weekends?
I do not know, but we are meeting with the dining services like very soon. So we should be able to answer that question to the next at the next student senate meeting.
All right, moving on to diversity and inclusion, Chair Howard.
So just to like reiterate what the president and participants said, our week went really well. I got a lot of ideas from the town hall. I'm excited to work with everybody on it. Our first meeting will be this Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 8 in the County King Center, and we will be meeting twice a month. Yeah, on Wednesdays. Oh, and then I have a nomination, Jess Keller for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
Okay, so it was my fault. I accidentally put this in new business, but this is supposed to fall under her report. So we have a nomination for Jess Keller for the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Is there a motion to discuss, motion to vote?
Motion to vote.
All right, there's a motion to vote. Is there a second? All right, all in favor of approving Jess Keller to the Diversity and Inclusion Committee as a non-student center position, please raise your placards. All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, Jess Keller is passed 18-0-0.
I still have 2 non-student center positions needed to be filled. So if you can please email Senate.diversity if you know of anybody interested. And then please come and support the meetings by, sitting in, listening. And then if you have any constituent concerns, direct them to me. Thank you. End of report.
Thank you, Chair Howard. Moving on to discretionary funds, Chair Rob.
Not much to report. We had our first meeting yesterday at 1:30. We'll be meeting at that time regularly. I talked with Carrie earlier today, and it looks like we'll have the DFC application up on Presence very shortly. And once that's up, we'll have a campus-wide email sent out. It will definitely get out before the end of the week, much sooner than that. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Chair Rob. Moving on to new business, there is none. Sorry again about that. There is also no old business. Moving on to public comment. Are there any in the room or on YouTube? All right, moving on to postmortem. Sorry about my kind of depressing report today. I just kind of want you all to know to start getting a little bit more involved on campus. I know as a lot of you are new senators, it just takes time to break in and get comfortable with your positions, but we'll get there. But just so you know, Senator reports are really important for all of us knowing what's happening with you and your constituents. And again, constituents are very important when it comes to our programming too, and making sure that all voices on campus are heard equally. So also have a very good and relaxing fall break. We all deserve it. This has been a very weird and rough few weeks since the start of school, but everybody enjoy your fall break, and we'll get back to work as soon as we get back with a lot more senators now, so great. And then moving on to adjournment. Yeah.
Did you want to, I don't know if someone wants to give a motion to discuss, but I think we should probably make the inauguration speech mandatory.
All right, Senator Hernandez-Ortiz said that we should make the inauguration mandatory. I did send out the link to the RSVP, I believe, last week in the agenda. We'll discuss that more next week since we are moving into adjournment, but just keep that in mind, but we'll discuss it more. All right, moving into adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye. All opposed? All right,